the Arnold Schwarzenegger Museum in Thal, Austria, of which I'm a very big fan. They have some sort of art competition going on, and I of course decided to join in, and I decided to do this drawing in my personal pen and ink style that I use very often. If you've seen anything on my channel or on my Instagram, you know what I mean. Started out by gathering some reference from the internet, and then here in my little sketch pad I did a few thumbnail sketches. So, starting out with the general proportions, just blocking out everything. If you're interested in seeing that approach, you can watch a few videos on my channel, like for example how I approach a sketch. I talk about that a little bit in those videos. And I did change the pose a lot, especially later. This is just going to be the graphite underdrawing, and I'm going to trace it after I'm done, and then I'm going to come in with my ink and do all the shading and the textures and everything. But for now, just sketching in everything. And the good thing about tracing a drawing once you're done is that you can change things. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to change the pose of the arms a little bit. The way he tilts his head, I wasn't really happy with that. But then I was already too committed and couldn't really change it. So that's also a reason why I ended up tracing my drawing. This Terminator T8000, is it T8000 I think, arm was the most fun part. If you have a look at my Instagram, you can see I did a lot of things with cables and very mechanical designs in the past. And that's something that I generally like to do, so I thought why not take advantage of this whole Terminator stuff. And I enjoyed throwing in some little details here and there, like this little pocket and the governor patch that he has, and all the cables and rods in his arm. Yeah, so I definitely had the most fun with this arm and with throwing in some little details here and there. The pistol that I'm drawing here is just some random pistol from the internet, but later on I'm ending up changing it to a Glock, of course. What else, right? Austrian product, being held by another Austrian product, being drawn by an Austrian product, so that makes sense, right? And yeah, now it's time to draw in the face. And the face was just a little bit challenging. Of course, I ended up giving him a very cool sunglasses. Because, you know, drawing the eyes and everything, that's a lot of... You can get so much wrong when you draw faces, especially people that everybody knows. If there's anything off, people will immediately notice. And so I was very careful about where I position his ear, where his mouth and everything. And here you can see me drawing in some sunglasses, and this is where the big struggle of the sunglasses begins. The sunglasses were the very last thing on this pencil on the drawing that I finished, because I just couldn't get them right. I looked at a ton of reference and I tried a ton of things, and no matter what I did, they never came out right. Either they looked crooked or not symmetrical. Things like sunglasses that are very symmetrical and straight and are sitting on your face at a certain angle. This is also the reason why I changed the head later on, why I tilted it straight. First of all, because I thought the whole composition and pose looked a little bit off. I noticed that a little bit too late, but it doesn't matter. You're gonna see me change it later on. Of course, cigar in his mouth, how could I miss that? And yeah, just having some further fun with the sunglasses, as you can see. Or not fun, because those things, they drove me crazy. But yeah, focusing on the rest of his head and his hair, the same hairstyle that he had for like the past 50 years. I thought maybe the nose was the problem, but then it wasn't the problem, and then I kinda got a little bit desperate with the sunglasses, and I thought about just tracing it on my tablet. This is something that I definitely would have done if I wasn't so stubborn. But yeah, being stubborn paid out in the end, because at the very end I finally made them look okay. But here from this angle you just see me redrawing the sunglasses over and over and over again, just trying to get them right, erasing them and drawing them back in again. I think I ended up like drawing 15 pair of sunglasses. 15 pairs of sunglasses, so yeah. But I saved them for the very end, made sure that everything else looked right. Using my mechanical pencil to draw in some more details on the robot Terminator arm, the T-8000, and especially on the Glock. The Glock came out very nice. I'm really pleased with the way it came out. It looked straight right away, without me using any rulers or anything to make it look right. And these Glock pistols, they have a very unique shape. Everybody recognizes the Glock. And yeah, I thought I would have many problems with the pistol, with the Glock, because it's also something that just needs to look right, otherwise people will immediately notice, just like with the sunglasses. But in the end, I didn't have any problem at all with it. And there you can see me, again, being very stubborn with the sunglasses, and just, you know, doing my very best. So these are the sunglasses that I settled on. As you can see me, you can see a change of scenery a little bit. And now it's time to trace it. I put on a new piece of paper on top of it, and I traced it and changed the pose. You're gonna see the comparison in just a second. There you are. There you go, just looks so much better with the head being not tilted in such a weird way and the arm being down a little bit more. And this Terminator arm given the thumbs up in a little bit more of an upward angle. Just making it look more right, you know, nobody gives a thumbs up like this. So that's when I really became happy with the drawing. I wasn't really convinced until the last minute, until I traced it and fixed the arms and the head and the sunglasses, and at the end of the day I'm really glad that I made the decision to trace it, basically draw out all the details a second time, but the work paid off in the end. Using my ruler just for the rods in his arm. Again, they are mechanical, they are engineered and everything. They're all at a certain angle, so using my ruler to make them look right. And then just having fun playing around with the cables everywhere, something that I really like to do. And just experimenting a little bit with this sci-fi robot arm. Drawing in the details on the Glock and starting out from the left to the right, because I'm right-handed. I mostly started from the right, so I don't end up smearing some ink or graphite or whatever. And shading the hands, I started out with that because if I get that just a little bit wrong, it's easy to fix it. If I get the shading wrong on the face, you're going to notice immediately. if a face is shaded in a weird way, it changes everything, how you perceive the face and how it ends up looking. It can even change the expression, of course. And so yeah, starting out from the left to the right with the arms. Shading his face, starting out with the details on the sunglasses, shading them, making sure I get the reflection right before I start to shade everything else. And I tried my hands at a little bit of cross-hatching for everything. A lot of the times I just do like a single line shading. I don't really like this cross-hatching so much because it makes things sometimes, when you look at some artists cross-hatching, it makes them look almost a little bit weird. So it takes some getting used to, but I tried it for this drawing and I think it came out just fine. And I'm happy that I did it. I did have some trouble shading those metal rods and the metal pieces of his arm. I just didn't really know how to approach this. Again, it's been some time since I did some shading on mechanical or metal parts. Could have used some more straight lines in the shading to make it look even more straight and mechanical, but I think it doesn't look too bad at the end. Making sure I have the right shadows overlapping here and there. As you can see on the cables, when it's overlapping with a metal rod, for example, I make sure that I have a very thick black line there, or at least some thicker black shading to really emphasize the three-dimensional aspect of it and really make it look like those things are laying on top of each other and they're overlapping. Now starting out with shading the Glock. And again, you know, I thought I would have some trouble shading the Glock, especially because that's also a very straight mechanical part. But at the end, just did some very basic line shading here and turned out just fine. Yeah, now shading in his t-shirt, that came out alright. Starting out with the rest of his attire, with the thing that he's wearing there. I'm curious if you know what kind of coat of arms this is that I'm putting on here. Leave me a comment. I want to see if people know what this is. Okay, just finishing up the shading on his jacket that he's wearing. Putting in some details like the cigar smoke and on the coat of arms. And now it's time to just focus on the background. And I wasn't really sure what I want to do with the background. I thought of doing some ink splattering, some ink splashes like I did with some other drawings, but I thought that would take away from the drawing itself a little bit. So I wanted to create a little bit more of a muted background. So I used my graphite stick that I have here and my paper stick that you can see to blend it out a little bit, make it look smoother, so I have a really nice contrast between the really straight and thick ink lines and the more faded background. Okay, so this is the finished product. I'm gonna send it in. I'm gonna keep you updated on Instagram on how this thing develops. I'm gonna send it in, see what happens. If you enjoyed this video, give me the thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you want to see more. Check out my Instagram. And I hope I'll see you around on the channel, okay? Thank you. Bye.